I think there's time for a restroom break real quick.
Yep, I think so.
Yes.
Hey, Shannon,
I mean, you had a.
did we get a chance for you to tell TJ that my laptop died? Okay, he's trying to get in here. Oh, it just died, but I plugged it in and got it booted up again, but he got kicked out probably. So just tell him to try joining.
Nobody wants to do the postmaster plan. Oh, my. I know, but it's so much.
Too orange.
Nobody wants, can you get grants without a postmaster?
No, I think it's also the end of it.
Yeah.
I forgot about the staff. Well, subcommittee organization. No matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wildcat go upstairs.
So you can't do it without the postmaster. It's hard. It's more challenging. Okay.
You can show.
$9.
Are you
Is that a
orange?
nine? Or that's a $5?
So am I.
Oh, you sure? I just didn't know. I was just doing it by, I wasn't doing it so much by color.
I started getting confused.
You want a green one?
Okay, 20, 20, yeah.
It's been on for
A while.
the wish list. So like, well,
I know, it's hard.
yeah.
So this is.
Oh, remember you wrote your numbers over here and then we go over there. So
So I'm not going, oh, but these were,
this is Nancy's.
nope, that's not Nancy's, it's,
Oh, TJ.
yeah, who put Nancy's up? Did you?
I did, she's blue.
So
Okay, okay, great, so I need to add, okay, good. So I'm gonna add. 49, and then I just. add 55. That's right, 80. Is 50, 75. Did everybody vote?
2 or 3 times.
If everybody voted, I'll go quick, you can take a break while I add up real quick and we'll see where these go. Do you have a calculator just in case if I need it? Make sure I do it right.
Just for the record, the subcommittee stuff, it's gonna happen no matter what we have. And that's on us. I mean, we can do that. I don't know if this is a.
So the subcommittees, would we not need like the Skylar or Seth to be at our subcommittees? Because that's just for
Someone
us.
has to be there.
Oh, they do have to be
But
there.
it's still on Monday nights, so it's not extra
Oh.
for them.
Well,
So actually, Seth and I talked about, we'll take one and I'll take. That's kind of our
oh,
plan.
so you would do like it every other month. That'd be good because you have to come to every meeting. And we have minutes.
So this is.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right, so
But
there's
it's
still only
still
12
a
meetings.
Monday, it's still just Monday, still 12 meetings.
85.
There's no additional.
Yeah, it can be up to whoever's in charge. Andrew's in charge of one and Tim's in charge of the other. I would assume.
25.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about like just collectively, we could like alternate.
Zero,
Yeah.
20.
And yeah, we've been talking about making these more in person. But we'll just see how it goes. I wanted to discuss with you guys. So historically, OSAC has always
never had a meeting in December.
Oh,
I
oh,
don't,
so we're down to 11 meetings.
right,
Oh, okay.
but we've always taken December off.
Well, yeah,
And
Goes around.
before COVID, OSAC, even when I was on city,
So let me add these.
oh,
75. So
they
that's
had a
five.
party at someone's house
oh, okay,
for OSAC,
okay.
and that was their meeting. It had to be posted,
Oh,
so anybody could come.
okay.
Your cousin.
I would be willing to do that at my house if it was like an early afternoon potluck type thing. I have a 3-year-old, everybody would have to be okay with that. Families can come. But if it's more like a potluck, hang out, drink beer, chit chat, holiday party. We used to do it at Nancy Fortune's house before that. Sometimes they'd go out, but usually it's at someone's house.
Okay.
What do you guys, how does anybody do? We could do it at your house at night.
Drink heavily.
Stumble home. So, and when everybody gets back in, we'll bring that up. It was fun, and like Jim now brought up to me, he was paying attention to our meetings, and he saw the
So this is 3.
he said it might behoove us to have some social
And this is
gathering.
4.
No.
Become more of a cohesive
Oh, well,
team. He said it
he'll
helped
be.
him
Oh,
when he was the chair for,
Oh, okay.
sounds kind of cool.
We have not.
So we could do it at me or your house. I said mine because I
It
didn't
is,
want
yeah.
to do it at yours.
2,
I don't think it's fair to ask for other
3.
places, but we'll throw that out there.
That's a. And that's why there's some.
Yeah.
is 5. Anytime.
The what?
Well, I see the M up there.
there already?
Yeah. Oh, is that on management
Okay.
open
I did
space?
some addition.
Is that on private land?
It's on, whose land is that? I think it's on, isn't that on city land? I can't remember. That big, it used to be there all the time.
I don't know.
School-
No, I didn't know.
The school asked for it to go back.
Is it
Oh.
like the Salida S?
Yeah, but it's a big,
Yeah, I saw that, I could see that,
Yeah.
and I said, what is that? I couldn't see the M. So I kind of pushed back up to it, and I got real close to it, then I realized it was an M, I was thinking, what is that? And then tonight, Rebecca was watching the local news, and she said, oh, that M you were talking about, was being done by the high school.
Yeah, it was done by the high school.
Oh.
They did it all.
Is it gonna make any problems?
They're gonna whitewash it. I don't know if they've completely done the whitewash
Apparently it
yet.
was there before,
Yeah, it used to be there all the time.
yeah.
And we had to get permission through Walton's to walk on their land and all.
Oh, to
that
get
stuff.
to it?
Yeah, so, yeah, but the high school. Okay, here's how it voted. Here's how it came out. Serpentine Master Plan #1. Black Canyon Master Plan #2. This is really close. Bowers Park connection was 105 and Iron Mountain Trail connection was 100. So it goes 3 and 4. This one didn't get any votes. The 5th one was, they're all right here. The 5th one was to fund the position. That got the 5th vote. And then we kind of go from there, the Midland Trail easement, and it moved down. So those are probably your top 5, and then move to Midland Trail would be your 6th. And then you move to Eagle Mountain Trail.
Interesting, no postcard money.
Yeah, which I asked Skylar, so let me just talk
That's a
about
ton of
that
money.
briefly. I asked Skylar, does that mean that would hurt your grant application? Because a lot of grants want a master plan, opposed, how are you gonna do it? And to say that it was in the post plan, it was this, it was that. He said what that will require, and Skylar, I don't want to speak for you, so go ahead.
So I would say an updated master plan with a clear high priority for a project like that helps. It does not necessarily need to come first. what you need to do in place of an updated master plan is an extensive community outreach process. So that probably is more on Para than OSAC because of their park master plan, and really make that, you know, this nice park that the community wants to see. And OSAC would be constructing the park or the trail to get to the park. So I don't know, there are ways to do it without having.
And the other thing to consider is to have Parks and Rec do our RFI to just see what it would cost and then bring that back. So do a request for information, put it out there to see what somebody would charge to do it approximately. Maybe you can get it done for 30,000. I don't know, thought 50. But and then they could bring that back with more detailed information and then apply for a DOLA grant towards the middle of the year or later. So that's another option for that also.
Can I say something about the Bill Bowers Park connection? It's a priority, but there's a moving part in that, namely the guy who owns the property that might make that completely null and void. I've called several times, I've heard back from him. So I think that's one of those kind of priorities that can always be going on. I don't want it to take away our 4 priorities that we did. I think it's important, but I don't think that staff, there's anything actionable until we hear from this guy. So,
but it could be something that staff is working on and trying to make happen, but it may not be that top, but it's saying, hey, put this on your list and keep it there and keep working it as you can. Did that work? So everybody agree with this? It looks like it came out pretty strong. Serpentine, Black Canyon, Bowers, Iron Mountain Trail connection, fund the position, which you may want to wait for that, but it's probably something to start having at least a conversation. It says that you have enough people that want a conversation about it.
is that, go ahead.
I just wanted to say the Wildcat Vault stairs. The GOCO grant is a necessary and sufficient condition for that to happen. If we get the GOCO grant, it's going to be done. If we don't, it's not going to be done.
And it won't kill anything
And it
either.
won't kill anything either.
And then I also want to just add like Red Mountain. I mean, I think that is like a trail maintenance priority for us.
Always.
Also. So it's not necessarily, I mean.
It doesn't
it's
mean
just-
it goes away.
Yeah, I mean, I think we do want to try and maintain that.
Right. And you know what, to that point,
That's Seth. That's you, Seth.
I mean,
Got
I mean, but we're getting it in that actually.
yeah, I also want it to go away to the point, because you said we're probably gonna need rim fee. Just because it's not in our top 4, because we need to pay to get these other things done, doesn't mean we can't hire rim fee. We have the money to do it.
I mean, it's time.
So 4 is hard to pigeonhole us in.
I think what it does is, what I would recommend is after like that April timeframe, after your first quarter, go back and look at these and say, okay, this is where we are with these projects. Here are the other things that were listed. Do we have the bandwidth to take on something else as we move forward? What is it that we want to do during the summer is hard because everybody is all hands on deck with everything on summer. But it gives you that opportunity to come back and just take another look at it.
Like if we're scheduling rim fee, we need to do that when? January?
As soon as possible.
Do it last.
So you could work on that right now and get
Yeah.
scheduled for Red Mountain.
Yeah, I would think of these priorities almost as like something beyond the day-to-day of what we kind
Right.
of do.
So you would consider Red Mountain day to day?
Yeah.
Okay. I like
Operation.
Operation.
Okay.
Yeah, because like looking
That's
at
good
this
for
list,
clarity.
I think we're maxed out with projects with Serpentine and Black. Those are going to take
A
a lot of time,
That's-
and 2 of those a year is about right, maybe even a little too much, but those, it's almost like those are the big rocks, right? Those are the ones that take up the most space in the jar. We can do some smaller rocks, Ruby and Wildcat Gulch and all that, because those are more operational. But we're also limit in on those as well. You know,
And I think, I think that's why April, coming back and looking at it, I just encourage you, nothing is more frustrating from a staff perspective than when you have 20 projects and you can't do any of them well.
Right.
It just is like, because other things come up the whole time. And then they're like, okay, well, I can't get this done. And they want this and they want that. So if you stay really focused, here are the ones. And in April, we're going to come back and we're going to revisit and say, okay, this is what we've gotten done. And yes, Seth can say, hey, I can take one more project on, be okay. Or Seth could say, I'm swamped. I can't take anything on this year. Let's keep as is. Maybe we can revisit in September of where we are and really keep that focus going. You're right. Those are two big projects. You're going to put RFPs out, do a public open houses. They take a lot of energy.
And that might raise the funded position too in spring. It might, we'll have a better indication that if Seth goes, I can't do one more thing, then it's really what, you know, that's the time to say, okay, well, we need enough.
Yes.
And I'd also say that's kind of the idea of the subcommittee structure too. Like there's a trail subcommittee can be looking at each one of these things and working with Seth, right? Be like, okay, well, here's the next trail project, the next one. So once those subcommittees hit their stride, it'll really be focusing on those operational things. Then all of OSAC is participating in those big projects.
Well, because if we tackle like Serpentine master plan first, I mean, obviously we have to tackle one first over the other. Do we do Black Canyon first or Serpentine?
Serpentine got one.
So we focus on that one first, and then depending on how that schedule is going, will tell us when we can start on Black Canyon.
The Black Canyon might not even be able to start until we know for sure that we have an easement. We know we're getting it. That's not, you know,
It
but
might
it
happen
hasn't
next-
happened.
It hasn't happened. So what will happen is, what normally happens is we look at this, right? Then all the directors go back, they kind of set their goals. They go back and do their work plan for the year. So they can talk about what's going to happen, what they kind of do Gantt charts in their mind or however they do it. Okay, we're doing this project. At this time, I have enough staff to start this. And they look at the whole work plan for the year, and that's how they do it. So once you give them this, I step out, you step out, right? And they do the day-to-day operations and provide those updates. But it's really up to the director to manage that work plan and what needs to be done. I'm sorry, Tim, you had your hand, and I haven't been looking over there. I've been looking over here. Yes, Tim.
By necessity, we're an opportunistic group. I mean, if something comes up, like that property did up on Ranch Road,
Yeah.
along there, then we have to shift resources and attention over to that as well. And the one that I was thinking of, that we didn't even mention,
We gotta do this.
yeah, we didn't even mention on this one, was that property along next to Fields Park, along the creek.
Is that
The market
Oh,
property
oh,
is
yeah.
listed right now. I talked to Jerry Trent. They haven't gotten any offers on it as it is. They're marketing it all as one piece of property. And they may yet decide to break that off and give us the opportunity to purchase that acre.
And then when it comes, that's when everything.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
that's- It's not even
You know what, I think, I could be, I'm gonna kind of like, bring flowing talk here. I think our subcommittees might be standing priorities. If there's a way to say that. Those subcommittees are always a standing priority, always something that land acquisition is always, we don't have to, that's in the post plan. That is like one of our main missions. So I think it should be maybe understood, maybe we can put it in better words, that trail maintenance, trail management subcommittee is one of our those are our two basically top priorities, managing the open space and trails. And those will never go away. Even if we don't want to prioritize them or give them that amount of money, they're still Does that make sense?
Yep. Yeah, they're always there, right? But these are the projects that you want
Right.
staff to take on, so that at the end of the year, next year at this time, you can say, okay, we got these done, what's the next focus? Instead of the shotgun approach, you're doing more of the very narrow, let's get these things done and move on. And it helps staff. Questions? Yeah, questions?
So we said that we do want to fund that position. Is there a time frame? Or is there a deal for
That's a
that?
good question.
Well, I think it's important. I would ask Seth and Skylar, I would think you would want it like by February, March, so you could get ready for this summer to do trail building, but I could.
Are we wanting a new parks director to help create
I would.
that? I mean, because it would have to, that guy needs to be first, right?
That position. Yeah, that position.
Poor girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the person.
That position. Yeah, so, and as I said, we could get somebody on fairly quickly.
And they could immediately start helping us. with that. I mean, you already.
Skylar is gonna send us the right person up
You
here.
already have a
We are
job
gonna
description
post.
For the parks and for the open space management.
I found one that we used in Boulder that I would copy. Okay.
And then, so this all gets put down and we present this to council as a budget. These are what we want to do.
What you'll do is in November, all the boards and commissions will be presenting to council.
Right.
So, and you'll be putting this together and saying, here's what your budget is. Some of it isn't gonna cost a lot of money, right? Some is. But here are our goals for this year. Here's how they rank. Here's what we're looking to spend in our budget. And they'll look at that. It's already, you guys have a dedicated amount.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're requesting funding. You're just talking about how you want to spend it. And then
So-
council would look at, ask questions, verify accordingly.
But I mean, so I just learned this. I never knew. We always talk about presenting to the council the budget. Blah, blah, blah. Rebecca told me that that's already done. Like our budget has already been approved. There's nothing.
Well,
So this is basically pomp and circumstance.
no, your budget of the amount that you have
Right.
is already done. Because that's through the voting
Right.
process. So you guys already have this amount. The others will be asking for money out of general fund
But we're
somehow.
not asking.
But you won't. So what you'll do is be presenting this. Now, council may say, we don't want you to really focus on this. We want you to put 200,000 on this. And they have the authority to do such.
They could take all of our money if they want.
They
And
could,
they spend it the way they want.
they could.
But just so you guys know, I've always been under the impression that we're going and asking for this money and we're presenting and this is what we want. And this is might have been the wrong assumption on my part. But we're not asking, it's already been approved. We're not asking for these funds. It's already
Right.
happened.
The funds are already allocated to this. I mean,
Right.
it's very specific for the ballot initiative.
We've always been told like, we have to get this done by a certain time. That's why the world never ended when we did our retreat in January, because the money was already there. So the last couple of years, we've had a hustle because this has to be done by budget. But done, that was already done, budget's done. So we go in and just kind of tell them, hey, this is what we're thinking, what do you think? And they usually just go, sounds good.
But they may give you feedback, hey, would you look at this? Or hey, what is this for? Could you add this to the work plan, whatever that may be? So they will be, or they may say, that looks great, thank you. Go divide, conquer, provide us updates.
It's a
So-
great exercise.
When is this gonna happen? Well, I guess where I'm going with this, when is this gonna happen?
November. What the dates? I don't have it
It's
right
like
off the
the
top of my head.
it's the second.
And it will be at the high school. It's November 8th. Thank you. It's election night. So we have to go to the high school.
So I guess my curiosity is when I go talk about funding this position, I'm like, oh, will we have a Parks and Rec director and I'm going to tell them that we're funding this? How are the optics going to look?
I don't think you have voted yet that you want to fund it. It's one of those things that you're looking at. I would say where we've explored that, we've talked about it, but we'll be bringing it back sometime next year. if we
But
choose to
Will
move
our
forward.
budget have a line item in there now?
No.
Okay.
No, nothing of that at this point, no. So you'll just say, we talked about it, we mentioned it, here's why, but we're not ready to really bring that to council for a
We
final.
don't really, none of this is gonna be shown to them. Our budget it's already done. We
Like
have this amount of money in.
allocated, but you can say, here's our
So that
top
won't, there will
priorities.
not be a new position. Line item yet.
No, because you guys, I don't think you guys have said, this is really what you want. You really need to vote on that and make a motion and say, this is what it wants.
So just because it's a priority doesn't mean that it's, none of these things will be specific line items in the budget.
Well, like serpentine, you probably, and it won't be, because you guys don't have line items. You have an overall budget, right? So you don't have like an operations line item. You don't have a,
It comes out of,
right, it just comes out of your, so it's a OSAC, but you don't have salaries, you don't have, you know, you don't have, okay, paper supplies and all of those things. It's the OSAC. Here's how we would like, here's what we're thinking of doing. This is approximately what we think they're gonna cost.
but those even aren't really even like not taking that necessarily. Because there's been no motion that we're doing any of that.
I would say this is what we talked about in our strategic planning
Okay.
meeting.
Fair enough.
This is what we're doing, and then you could at your next meeting, because your next meeting is before, oh, you don't have a meeting before the November?
Well, we have it at the end of
So-
October.
At the end of
We
October.
have a subcommittee.
Oh,
So
a
it's
subcommittee.
interesting.
So you can say, this is what we looked at for our work session.
And what I'm
our
trying to get to
strategy-
you guys is the budget is done. It's already done. This is like, it's only like 4 line items. Like this comes out of trail maintenance. What is it? Trail maintenance.
It's just one, isn't it?
Is it one, just one big line item?
It's just one line.
So what you have is you have this big pot of money
Right.
that is allocated to.
Well, like
OSAC.
Iron Mountain's on there.
But what council relies on you is your history and expertise and the time and the energy to come and give us your best counsel on how you want those funds to be used.
So it would be benefit you guys, because in the past, anytime someone's, and last year I wasn't chair, but I was given, hey, would you go present this? And it was like, show these line items. It would help you guys too. And we did not talk about our retreat at all. We just said, this is the budget.
Because it happened after.
Right.
Because we did our retreat in September.
Right.
It was after
was
you
on
had
the-
already announced council.
Okay,
And you'll have a PowerPoint that we kind of put together that you will fill in,
okay.
say, here are the goals, here's the, so it's really, it talks about goals. You are asking for money, so the others are asking for
Okay,
funding.
so I want
help
everybody,
with the
the only reason I'm bringing this up is I want everybody to be clear what I'm going to council with. And I'm gonna say 4 priorities.
That's what I would.
Okay,
There are top 4 priorities. As we work through these, we may change them. I'll update you as here's what we voted on or
I
not
just want
voted.
everything.
And in your presentation, if I'm just maybe throw something out, you kind of have, you've got these 2 things going on. You've got maintenance, you've got what you call the day-to-day operations. I would probably on the slide just say, under the day-to-day maintenance operation, these were our priorities. And on the you know big ticket items, these were our priorities. And have one be a separate slide because you don't want to mishmash them all together because you've got several things going on here. Because maintenance has to happen, but you can say, oh, under maintenance, this is how we prioritize all of these maintenance issues. And it's always good for a city council to realize how much maintenance OSAC does. And then on the new projects, you know, serpentine and whatever. So those that yeah, dumb it down for us.
No, last year I said, here it is, any questions? Everybody said, yeah. I mean, it took 15 seconds. Okay.
Well, and they do, I mean, council really, I think, honors the work that everybody does.
Right.
And whenever you've really worked on, I mean, you've spent, what, 4 hours tonight working on coming up with goals and your priorities. They honor that. They're not gonna try to question you to change it, right?
Of course,
That's
yeah,
at
especially when you're
regardless
not
of-
asking for money.
Right, they want to hear what your focus is next year. And they may ask some questions. Why serpentine? Why is that a
Right.
focus right now? And that will be your opportunity to say, this is why.
And so
and
I
then
guess,
they
I guess
also
my
wanna-
big thing, I don't want to get into the, I don't have to, because it's number 5. I don't want to get into it with council
I would.
that we discuss about funding the position.
You could mention,
Because I
you
know
know,
that there's some very mixed.
but that's okay. You could mention, we've had that conversation, but we're not ready to really go into detail about that yet.
Right.
So that it's, you know, because you did, I was something like it, but you did have the conversation. So it's fair to say we had it, but we're not ready to discuss. We don't even know if that's a possibility right now, but it's something we're looking. Because there's a lot of work that we have to do. And you would want the new person to buy into that. And help with that and sell and everybody.
And council also, I segue what you said, because not only do we honor you, but we rely on you. Because you're the ones in the trenches, you're the ones that are going out there, you're on the trail, you know exactly what you're talking about. And it's, we even if we don't ask a lot of questions, we're listening to every word you say. And most of us go back and review and take notes and questions, you know, but we rely on that. And if you have on there an item that says we're considering in the future, the near future, maybe in the next 6 or 12 months, funding a position, putting all of the projects on 2 slides, here's all the things we're doing to maintain.
But we don't
this.
have
Here's
to
all
go
the-
that.
No, but I mean, just say, just to get,
Right.
this happened to fall in, you know, in a higher priority.
Well, my worry is, I mean, there is a slight sense of panic I'm noticing with some of the council people that I've talked to separately about the marijuana. I don't want to be involved in that until we figure out if it is time to panic or not. And I don't think the budget meeting in November is, I don't want to get OSAC involved in that panic by saying, oh yeah, hey, we're talking about hiring someone else. I know you guys are real worried. So
Well, I think
just
that-
don't want to.
You have a lot less to worry about with regard to that, because you already have that pot of money.
Yeah.
You're not asking
Yeah.
for money, you have the money. So it's.
But
a little
we
different.
have the money, is my worry. So,
But they can't take that money from OSAC. I mean, they could say they wanted to use it on this, but they can't take, it's very specific of what that fund, those funds can be used for. Very specific.
and it's specifically 4 priorities I have to talk about.
Yeah.
The top 4.
Yeah. And then they also, you do an update of what you accomplished last year, what you worked on, what you accomplished, and go. So, yeah.
And it's impressive.
You're welcome.
You should definitely-
Yeah, your PowerPoint is done. You had a couple of things and you're ready to
My
go.
parting gift to you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and Becca is always there, and you know, nobody knows this budget better than Becca. Every number, everything, every detail. So she's always there to support and answer questions and to clarify it. I mean, I don't know what we do without
Future agenda, is this it? Is everybody good?
Mhm.
So future agendas, I think Tim got the short Rochambeau, you guys.
I for some reason wrote down that trails was in October.
I know that you take really good notes and you would remember. So
Well,
I think
That's what
that,
was listed in the packet.
okay.
Tonight's packet was October is trail maintenance.
That could be good because of the youth.
Perfect. So October is trails, November is,
Andrea?
Is OSAC management, whatever the hell that is.
and I think these first 2 meetings, we need as something to figure out what we want.
And I think a big part of that is the acquisition stuff. And I think that's part of the OSAC.
And the committee, when they get together, the committee gets to decide where you're taking them. So those are the next 2 meetings.
So I just want to mention, I heard the conversation about doing a gathering and a holiday or whatever that may be. Just check with Judy. Judy Morgan, the city clerk, of what needs to be posted and what doesn't?
Yeah, it does.
And something, I mean, as long as you guarantee you don't talk about any work, those type of things, so there are certain rules that you need to follow. Just check
So-
with Judy to make
So
sure
some people
everybody.
were not in, I wanted to talk to this more formally. In December, we typically don't have a meeting at all. In the past, long time ago, Cheryl will remember this, they used to have a Christmas holiday party, usually at someone's house. And we could have a meeting, we could have no meeting, or we could have a party. What do you guys want to do?
Are you thinking about Monday, the 26th is one, so start?
No, well, usually, I think usually it's like on a Saturday, so people can bring their spouses or.
And is it
family.
usually earlier in the month? You know, not
It
towards.
can be
the-
whenever we want to do it.
Yeah,
So we
whenever
could
it,
do a
everyone
doodle poll or
says,
whatever and say, hey,
whatever times.
do a little potluck, socialize, hang out, and not talk business. So, Jim Young told me at the last meeting, he's like, you guys need to have a party, socialize a little. So we have to post it, which it will be easy to do. So the things we can have it like an early afternoon thing or an evening thing. So think about what you guys want to do and not. So you can be at my house or Tim's house, it sounds like.
Or we can stumble between.
Yeah, we can have the early show at my house. 'Cause I have a
Yeah, but
I have almost 4-year-old. She's so very social, but I know what it's like to hang out with other people's toddlers. Usually you don't want to do that, so I'm totally cool with that.
Other question is November, another subcommittee.
Yeah. So we'll have a party, and you know what we could also do is we can have the party somewhere, like at a bar or a restaurant or something. So think about what you guys want to do, talk about it, and we'll figure it out. A motion to adjourn?
Question, Jim.
Yeah.
Hannah got everything she needed for the updates, so.
Yes.
She's good. Yep. The only change was removing all references to campaign.
Yeah, and that was our first time doing a vote via email. We're only going to be doing house. Yeah, that's him. We're only going to be doing housekeeping, I think. He said it's been working really well with Para. Trying to just minimize, because if we hadn't done that, Hannah might have had to done the meeting. If we can minimize staff having to come and just clean up that housekeeping stuff via email, it's totally legal. We did it right. So just bear with me. I'm kind of new to this, figuring out how to send and so, next time though, I'm going to start bugging you guys like the day after I send that instead of 2 weeks. So
Before you adjourn, can I just say thank you for letting me facilitate?
Oh, well, thank you for
Thank
facilitating.
you for letting.
We'd have been lost.
Oh, no, you would have been great. And
thank you very much.
again, a big thank you to Skylar. who's-
Oh, yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. I didn't realize it's my last meeting.
Everything's happening really fast.
Yeah.
Do you know what your last day is? I think I mentioned it.
October 21st. So I'm giving 4 full weeks to try and wrap up something else. We're in a good place.
We asked for 3 months, but you know. I think his wife may really be upset on that one. And then I just want to say, you guys I just think you're doing an amazing job. And with Skylar's leadership, we stayed that high level and allowed Skylar and Seth really dig in, and I want to recognize all of it.
Yeah, and thank you, Seth.
Yeah,
Seth
yeah,
has done an
absolutely.
amazing job. too. And remember, you did the other thing that all of the whole team worked on that was very big this year was the storm cleanup for the trails and for everything else. That was absolutely
A lot of work.
big deal. I can't emphasize the amount of work that took for this whole team. So, just remember,
Yeah.
thank you all for your dedication, your volunteerism, and all that you do. Because you make it. And if I don't see you, happy holidays. We're almost there.
Move, motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Then I need all the markers back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Denise, I
Yeah.
assume you're gonna write this up or something.
No, I'm not, but one of them are, I don't know.
I